All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Prep Talk Live Show. If it is your first time tuning in, my name is Kissa. I am an entrepreneur, a mom, a wife based in Southern California in the suburbs of Los Angeles, and my family runs an online food business called Ninong's Dessert Lab. So, I am here on this live show every week to just talk about life, talk about business, and prep for the week. And so, if that sounds like something that interests you, please do stick around. I would love to have you. So, let us jump straight into it. Usually, what I do at every show is talk to you about what happened the week before, what I have planned coming up in this upcoming week, how I structure that in my productivity system, and also do a little takeaway or just a mini coaching session with you on certain topics that are just kind of on my heart. So, the thing that I wanted to talk about this week is the idea of researching about your industry, knowing about the industry that you're entering in, and about product research. So that'll come at the later third of the show. So before we do that, let's go ahead and talk about last week. How was last week? So let me look into my Notion setup. If it's your first time here, actually, also, I will have chapter markers in the description. So if you want to jump to a specific topic, you're more than welcome to. But so last week, let me open up my Notion setup. Notion is what I personally use to plan out my life, plan out my business. It's just kind of like that one-stop shop kind of app where it's not it's not like the savior of all productivity apps by no means, but it hits for me the necessities that I have, or the needs that I have as a mom, as a wife, as a homeowner, as a business person, where all those things can kind of be combined into one place and I can kind of link things, because as we're going to talk later, um it's all intertwined, right? And I think I've talked about this in previous live shows, but the concept of being a small business owner, small business, being an entrepreneur, and your personal life, they go hand in hand, right? Like, we're all entrepreneurs for that flexibility so that we're not tied to working for someone else, so that we can create the lives that we want. Keyword create, right? So, all that to say that, yeah, it's one of those apps that just works for me. I am not married to it. I love checking out new apps, new systems, but Notion is particularly what I use. So last week, let's see. Oh, here's a good takeaway. So, one thing that I have made it a goal, or one thing I have made a goal to work toward, is a morning routine. So, in the past few years, I've really done some internal work, and I've really just kind of studied my behaviors and things that I do naturally, so that I can become more conscious of those things that I like, that I personally do naturally, and also the things that I observe that I don't like, that I want to change. So, one thing that I realized about myself is there are two things that really affect, my productivity and just my mood and my motivation in general. Also, I apologize. Hold on one sec. So, I have a new camera because my other one in last week's live show was not cooperating with me. And this has an autofocus that I don't know how to turn off. So if I go blurry, I apologize. I'm going to try and keep my hands down so that the camera stays focused on my face. But anyway, so two things that really affect everything in my life, everything from my motivation to my work ethic to, you know, just everything, is one, my environment, and two, a morning routine. Those are the two main things that really get me to a place where I feel like I'm at my best. If my environment is set up for success, if I feel like when I walk out of my room and start my day, because I'm mostly at home most of the time, since I work from home right now for the time being, and because I have a almost 2-year-old, my home is a very important place for me right now. And so when I walk out of my room into the common area of our house, how does it make me feel? And so I've observed that it does affect me. Like if my house is a mess, I'm a mess. If my house is nice and, you know, it's never going to be always tidy. As I mentioned, I have an almost 2-year-old. So the moment we get out and he's ready for the day, the house is a complete mess within 5 seconds. But, just knowing that my house is in its best, it is at its best. It might not be the tidiest. It might be full of toys and signs that a toddler has been here. But, as long as I feel good about my environment, I'm good. So, because I observed that, I really invested not just time, but also money in improving my systems when it comes to my environment. So last year on Black Friday, I purchased what is it called? One of those robot vacuums, because wanted to keep the floor clean, and it was just something that I had to do every single day. I had to sweep every day to keep the dust at bay, because our backyard is just it's getting better, but it's a big project in itself to redo our backyard. And we have a lot of like grassy dirt patches on our side yard, and then of course I have my garden back there, my vegetable garden. So a lot of dust and grass and just things from the backyard get tracked in. And it was a thing. If I even wanted to try to sweep or vacuum every, like maybe 4 times a week, it wasn't enough. It had to be daily. And so it was driving me insane. And finally I just said, I know this is important to me. I'm going to invest in my environment. So I purchased myself a robot vacuum, and I'm never turning back. It's the best. I can't recommend it anymore. I'm not particular to any brand. We have a Shark vacuum, but you can use any, and I can tell you it's one of the best things I purchased last year. Another thing that I did to improve my environment, because I knew it was so important, was I bought a lot of smart home products last year, because, I don't know if you guys experience this, but when you purchase a house, because you're not living in it, there's certain things on your like list of must-haves for your home and things that you don't want in your home. And the house that we're living in right now, we've been living here for now 11 years. 11 years. Wow. We've been living in this house for 11 years, and it's our home. Like, it might not be our forever home, but we love living in this house. It's a house that we've really, like, Charlie and I have grown up in. We got married the same year that we bought this house. And so it holds a special place. And once we really lived in it, right, there's just going to be certain things about your house that are going to be semi-inconvenient, right? Like things that you wouldn't notice when you first look at it, or maybe when you even first live in it for the first month or year or whatever it is. But then over time, you're like, gosh, that really bugs me about this house. Like, I want to change that small thing to make more sense for me. And so there are a lot of things that I noticed over time that, was like a little tiny pet peeve about my house. And so I decided, okay, when I have the energy and the time, I'm going to work on that. And so I bought a lot of smart home products to help with those things. So one thing that I purchased was a motion sensor so that certain lights can turn on when someone walks through, and then also some temperature control things, because we have central air and central heat in our house, but certain rooms are hotter and colder than others. So I bought little thermostats to put in certain rooms so that we can run, for example, a heater when it gets too cold or whatever it is. And so it really affected my environment in a positive way because it made me feel good knowing that, say, the temperature in the house was comfortable, because in the summertime it gets super crazy hot where we live, like over 100 degrees hot. So just knowing that I put in the effort to do the research on how I can make this house more mine, and how we can make our environment more suitable for how we naturally live, made me feel really happy. And I didn't realize it until I started the process. So that's something that I did last year that I really realized was important to me. And because of that, it's been really important for me to upkeep it, to make sure that when I wake up in the morning, I just feel this sense of like, maybe I didn't tidy up the night before, but so it's not clean and, sparkling clean when I wake up first thing in the morning, but I do know that I care enough to spend some time on an area that needs my attention, that needs a little TLC. So that's something that I have just made a habit of mine. That's part of my morning routine. And it's always going to be one of the things that's always in my head about how can I make my environment make me feel good, or make me feel like I can be comfortable and motivated and just in a place where I don't feel anxiety or stress or anything negative. So those are some things that I did to improve my environment. And if you're someone like me and you just realize now that environment does affect your mood, my suggestion would be to observe yourself and just kind of say, okay, what are the things that I like about my current environment? Make a list. Do you like lighting candles? Do you like the scent of it? Do you like bright spaces? Do you like darker spaces? Do you work more efficiently during the daytime? Do you work more efficiently in the evenings? Like what about your environment is good? And then what about your environment do you need to feel like you need to fix? And you're not going to fix everything all at once, right? That's just crazy talk, because just as slow and patient you have to be to find out those little, things that bug you that you want to fix, it's going to take the same amount of time for you to figure out how to fix them. Because if you just jump into a solution, it might not work. And then, if you were thinking that it would immediately create the solution for you and it doesn't, that disappointment might get you to stop. And that's not the idea. There's so many things out there that can solve a problem, right? And it just all depends on your life, if it makes sense for your life. And if it doesn't, what makes sense for me might not make sense for you. And so that's why I definitely think that the first thing to do is, if you want to improve your environment, is to really observe what is it that you think will improve it, so that your mood, your anxiety levels are down, everything is just better across the board. So that's something that I've been working on, and it has really had a good effect on me. And then the other thing, as mentioned, is a morning routine. So last week we really got into the topic of morning routines in my group coaching, my group coaching call that I have every week with my business coach. And the thing about morning routines is, I realized I used to think that I wasn't a morning person. And that was because I was usually grumpy. I never wanted to get up early, really. I wanted to sleep in as long as possible and then get up whenever I wanted. And I realized that's not necessarily a reason as to why I'm not a morning person, right? It's more of the idea of, it was hard for me to get up in the mornings because, one, I was probably up so late the night before. Two, I am also the type that I stall. I'm a procrastinator, basically. And so because of that, when I wake up, I feel this sense of anxiety because I didn't have the discipline to wake up when I needed to, so that I felt like I had a little bit more control over my day. So when I wake up, I already feel flustered. I feel like I'm in a rush. I feel like I'm letting someone down. Whatever it is, it just doesn't feel good. And so I thought that if I put a morning routine together that would kind of set my day up for success so that I feel calmer, then I could attack my day. Instead of being in reactive mode, I'm in proactive mode. So I wanted to put a morning routine together. I did have one that I used for quite a while. And so truthfully, it just kind of wasn't a priority. And even though I did have a morning routine, I didn't follow it religiously. And I think that's pretty common. That's something that happens to a lot of people, where you have a habit that you want to start and it's not necessarily in your natural behavior, but it'd be good for you. There's no way that you're just gonna cold turkey suddenly be super good at it, right? Like it just doesn't work like that. Over time, your behavior has to change, and after a while, it'll become more natural to you. And it was the exact same thing for me. Putting a morning routine together was not easy. I just wrote down what I thought would be great and what I thought I needed, because that's the perfect place to start. If you had an ideal situation where you could just start off your day a certain way and there was nothing holding you back, what sequence of events would that be? And so I just wrote it down. I brainstormed, I wrote it down, and I said, okay, these are the things that I feel like I need to set myself up for a great day. And it was 9 checkboxes long, which I did not think was that long. But for over a year, it had been my morning routine. And for whatever reason, I could not get consistent with it for over a year. I gave it a chance. And whenever I did do every single thing on that list, admittedly, I had a great day, for sure. But the motivation to do it was the big question. And I was wondering why. And so I was talking about it in our group coaching session last week. And I couldn't really figure it out, because I knew that I was the type of person that, finds a little bit of satisfaction when you have a to-do list and you're able to either cross off the thing or mark the checkbox. That's just I love that. I love feeling accomplished, like I did something that I was supposed to, and it just motivates me to want to do more. And so I wasn't thinking that 9 things on my morning routine was going to be difficult for me, but I guess it was. And so when I was kind of talking through it and just kind of answering questions and just trying to sort through it, I guess it was kind of overwhelming for me to open up my daily journal and just see that I had all those things that I had to do before you even add it to the list of business responsibilities or tasks and the mom duties that I had to fulfill and the homeowner duties that I had to take care of and the wife duties that I had to do. Like there was just so much already that I guess I didn't realize that even the morning routine felt like just a daunting task. And so what we decided to do was basically just simplify my morning routine and make it more thematic than an actual checkbox of things. And to tell you the truth, I was going to commit to doing it for 7 days. And I was just about to tell you that I failed miserably. But then when I think about it, I actually didn't do that bad. Aside from the weekend, during the weekday, I actually did pretty good because it was more of a rhythm. It was less of this task, just something that I had to automatically add to my to-do list, 9 things to add to my to-do list. And it was more of like, okay, these are the 3 things that you need to concern yourself with so you feel good in the morning. 1 is to connect, 2 is to clean, and 3 is, what was the third one? I already forgot. It's in my weekly journal. But since we're talking, it's 3 C's basically. And the whole purpose of my morning routine is so that I can gain some clarity, because the whole reason why I wanted to do the morning routine in the first place was because I felt like I was so scrambled, like I was running like a chicken with my head cut off, because I was being so reactive and I couldn't figure out how to take a pause, because there was just more and more that was stacking onto my plate as the day went on. And so I felt like instead of walking into the day like I was ready to like go into battle, I was more like trying to put on my armor as I was running into the field. It just didn't feel like I had my center and I had my plan in place to at least give the day a shot. Because I know for sure, and I'm going to say this, like even a morning routine is not going to be the sacrificial lamb or the solution to every single thing that's going wrong in my life. That's definitely not what it is, but it at least sets myself up so that the chances of a better outcome are more likely. Because something, I think we've all learned, like something could definitely just hit the fan out of nowhere and it could just definitely ruin your day. Or something amazing could happen that you weren't planning at all that could change your day for the better. That like anything could happen at any time, at any day. And we all know that. And the thing that I realized is, why would I want to start the day just kind of letting it all up to chance? I just want to do my best to know that with the limited time that I have, I want to do my best to try and just be my best. And I'm going to come short. I'm going to come up short so many times. That's just a given. I'm human. I'm me. I F up more times than I can tell you. But at the same time, when I go through a morning routine and I feel like I'm ready, I can't tell you how I know it was because of that morning routine that turned the day toward the better. And it would take more to rattle me than if I didn't do my morning routine, right? So all that to say, I spent 22 minutes talking about that, but I can't tell you how important it is to me and how it has really changed just a lot of my perspective on things and how my days usually go. So I'm really grateful and thankful for that. So that was my big takeaway from last week. This week, though, I have a lot going on. So this week is going to kind of be a different tone. I feel like now that we're walking into February, which I can't believe I just said, I can't believe we're in February already. That's insane to me. January just flew by. I don't even know what happened, but I do feel this sense of momentum happening. To tell you the truth, nothing is happening within our business or within our personal life really, except for a few things. But I do feel like, the hype of the holidays is really, truly, officially over. We're really into the second month of 2022. There's just, this sense of normalcy that I feel like is starting to happen again. And it kind of feels good, to tell you the truth. I'm excited. And I don't know what the future holds, but I do feel this sense of optimism, and I don't know what that could be from. That could possibly be from the environment thing, the morning routine thing. Could be that. Could also just be what's in the air. I have no idea. People I'm surrounding myself with. I don't know. But to tell you the truth, nothing is really changing. Everything has pretty much stayed the same, or if anything, has slowed down for me. So it's kind of this weird, ironic kind of life that's happening where I'm definitely not used to. I'm not used to slowing down and feeling a sense of excitement. I'm usually used to things slowing down and feeling a sense of extreme anxiety, but not this time. So I'm really curious to see how this is all going to unfold, and I'll definitely keep you guys updated. But yeah, I just feel this sense of excitement in the air, or that something is just looming. It's like something is going to happen. And I know it's going to be a good thing because I can feel it in my gut that something is going to change this year. And I definitely feel like it's going to be for the good. So that's that. So this week, let's go into it. Let me open up let's do a screen share. So, excuse me. Here is my Notion setup. As usual, this is what I see every time I open up Notion. It is my dashboard. I call it Kissa HQ. And this has access to basically everything I need for my life and business. So it's all intertwined basically because it truly is. I mean, I run a family business. When you're a small business, that's just how it is. And I love it. I love the fact that my life and business are so closely interwoven together. And this is my weekly agenda. So as you guys know, or if you don't know, my word for the year is brave. And that's why I have a little lion emoji. The lion emoji is going to basically represent me for the whole year. I'm going to be a little lion. Now, this week, let's talk about it. I have Micah's Mommy and Me classes. They have started up again this week. So we're going to hit the ground running. Like today is the first day of the week. But after today, we don't really have anything going on today. But Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we have something going on. So Micah has his Mommy and Me class tomorrow. Charlie is ramping up production for the business. So that's basically what we're taking on tomorrow. And then I have production on Wednesday. Wednesday is always my production days. We have empanadas that we deliver every single week to a vendor in Sherman Oaks. And so I will be working on that on Wednesday. And then on Thursday, we decided to sneak in a Disney trip because it is Lunar New Year celebration there. And we wanted to try the new food that they have. So we're going to squeeze in a Disney day. And then on Friday, I have a few meetings and a few calls that I have to take care of before the weekend. On Saturday, we have a family thing. We're celebrating a few birthdays with my family on Saturday before we leave for Vegas on Sunday. So every single day is packed. And then we'll be in Vegas. We're actually visiting. We're going to Vegas because we're going to a trade show, and it's a specialty food trade show. And we're going to observe and kind of watch and see if the show is going to be a good match for our products and our business, to see if we can exhibit there in a future show. So we're going to go and just kind of walk and observe. And normally, if it were me, I would just go for it and I would get a booth and I would do it. But I am taking my time this time around. I'm going to just observe and see if it really does look like it would be a good idea for our business. And instead of jumping the gun like I normally do, I'm just going to take my time and then attend, enjoy myself, and then come back. We'll talk about it as a family and see where it goes. So I'm really excited. And we're going to be there from Sunday to Tuesday. So that already even cuts into our following week. So I'm very curious to see how these next 2 weeks are going to go, because it feels like it's going to be a quick one. And then after that, if I look here, after this week, it's going to be our pop-up that weekend. So I knew it. I had the feeling. I was like, I think there's a pop-up from when we get back from Vegas. So Tuesday, we return back home, and then we'll have just the rest of the week to prep for our pop-up, which is on that Saturday. So it's going to be a crazy 2 weeks, but I'm excited. The momentum, like I said, is just picking up. So this week's affirmation, I'm going to put in after the call. I already kind of worked on my focuses for the week. I'm not necessarily I haven't filled everything out, but I knew I will be focusing on business this week, which is why I put it in there. So I'm going to be preparing for Vegas. We're going to be shipping out a wholesale order before we leave. And I'll be focusing on a new community that I've created and creating content for them that's within the community that'll just kind of help get the conversations going. It's called Powered Up Pop-Ups. And if you want to join and you're interested, the description below will have all that information. But I'm going to be focusing on that this week. And then I'm going to figure out what else, if anything, if I'm going to focus on anything else this week. And that's just how it is, right? The flexibility of business and that entrepreneur life is just, I'm only going to focus on this week, and I can change my mind next week, or I can keep going. Like, that's the beauty and that's the fun, I see it, of being an entrepreneur. I got a few things on our shopping list, not much though, because honestly, we're going to be gone and we're going to have our Disney trip and all those things. So I don't really have much on our shopping list for this week. And then I also have my tasks for this week and reflection. So that's all that's really there for now. But I'm actually thinking about sharing more on the progress. Maybe I'll share on Friday on my Instagram. So if you want to see how this is going and how it's been filled out, feel free to check out my Instagram. I'll probably share that in my stories. All right, so let's create a journal entry for the day. Today is Monday, 1/31. It's the week of, so I just look for my little lion, January 1st to February 6th. And I'll fill this all in later. So this is my template for my daily agenda. And as you can see, here we go. This is now my new morning routine. I used to have 9 boxes and I consolidated it down to 3. So I just put up on here, let's set ourselves up for clarity, because that's my goal for the entire morning routine, is to have clarity. I want to connect. I want to look at my calendar. That was the one that I was missing. And I want to clean. So those things, if I put them into my morning routine and I do something toward those 3 things, I feel like that's a great start. And I get into the habit of wanting to add more, but if it's not even a habit yet with those 3 things, I know I'm not going to be able to do more than that. So what have I done so far today? I did connect. I have not checked my calendar, and I have cleaned a little bit. So I've already done 2 out of 3. That feels pretty good. Now, my focus for today. So I changed the sentence. This used to be something else, but now this is basically going to be my template statement, so that I can make sure that my focus for today is always working toward some bigger goal. So I'll do an example for you, and I will say, I will focus on business by, what's one thing I need to do? Oh, I need to, by doing laundry so that we have clothes for our trip. So there's an example of something that I'm going to commit to today that is going to help move my needle forward, as if, let me open this up. There we go. I'll focus on business by doing laundry so that we have clothes for our trip. I can't tell you how long it's been since I've had to wear business attire. It has been quite a while, because even when I owned the restaurant, I was not wearing, a suit or anything formal. I was always wearing leggings and our uniform shirt. And so there's definitely laundry that has to be done. And then also from there, I can kind of pack and see what I need, because there's definitely going to be things that I'm probably going to need to buy for this trip, so that I know I have everything that I need. Either that, or, Vegas is a city in itself, I could always go and buy something if I need to while I'm there. So that's one thing. Another thing that I'm going to do is I will focus on my environment by putting the dishes in the dishwasher away so that I can load it again and run it before we leave for our trip. All right, so one thing that I love to do when I know we're going on a trip is I like to run the dishwasher on the day that we leave. That way, there are no dirty dishes when I come back home. Yes, I might have clean dishes that I have to put away. That's not as bad as having, a glass that I was drinking out of sitting in the sink for like days. So something I like to do is we never end up having to use or run the entire dishwasher like every day. So what we do is we add to it and then we run it when it's time to run the dishwasher. So I'm going to do that, or I'm going to put it away so that we can start probably on, let's say, Wednesday, so that we can run the dishwasher before we leave and we'll have clean dishes when we get home. I love that feeling of just coming home to a clean house. So those are probably the two things that I'm going to do today, because I also have to do a few things in the tasks. Welcome Post and Powered Up pop-ups is already done. Your girl actually did it. She is so proud of herself. And then I also need to go over my goals today and create a budget spreadsheet. So that's something that is also already on my list of things to do today. So that's basically 4 things that I need to get done, and then I will feel good about myself. And anything after that is cake. It's just extra. It's a good feeling. All right. So then at the very end, I have to do this reflection, guys. I can't tell you. Oh my gosh. Why am I zooming in? Sorry. I can't tell you how much I'm struggling with this reflection thing, and I have no idea why. So today, I need to do it. If anything, for accountability, I've got to at least, post it on Instagram or tell Charlie that I actually did it. Something so that I can make sure that I actually reflected. Because just like my morning routine being important to me personally, it might not be important to everybody else, or, it might not be something that you want to do or someone else might want to do, but I want to do a morning routine. And then same thing goes with the reflection. It's one of those night routine things that I know will help me just sleep better, because then I have less in my brain and it's all somewhere else, so that I have more peace of mind. So that has to start today. I need to do my daily reflection. So every time I open this up and it's the Prep Talk live show, I'm like, I still haven't done it. And I've been telling you guys for weeks that I will, and I just didn't. That's just me. So I have to do it. If you follow me on Instagram, DM me tonight and ask me if I did it, because then if maybe you message me and I didn't, it'll motivate me to actually do it. So that's why you need a community, guys. That's why we need a community of people around us, because the things that we want to do, the things we want to accomplish, sometimes it takes a village. It's just what it is. All right. So last thing, let's talk about product research and getting to know your industry. So the reason why I bring it up is obviously we're going to a trade show on Sunday, from Sunday to Tuesday, to attend and learn more about our new industry. So I'm sure the food industry isn't the only one, but if you're in the food industry, there's so many avenues that you can take. There's savory food, there's sweets, there's what is it called, like more homemade style, there's gourmet style, there's gastronomy, there's just so many different things, and then there's also the retail side and the wholesale side, the manufacturing side. And being a family that owned a business for 13 years, going on 14 years, we were always on the retail side. We always were on the restaurant side. And so we've learned a lot about being on that side of the business. We were not restaurateurs. We were not chefs, really. Like we basically started something and we learned along the way. And I can't tell you how hard that was, especially those moments where I felt so alone because I didn't know who I could ask. I didn't have that community around me. And there were so many times where I just cried and felt so alone because I had no idea what to do, Anyway, so one thing that I really promised myself once we kind of learned the ropes was, one, if anyone ever asks me a question about what I've learned along this journey, I'm willing to give it, because I remember what it was like to just sit there and feel alone and not know the answer, and also be afraid to ask that question because I thought it was stupid. It was a stupid question. But I promised myself then that if anyone ever asked me or needed help or anything like that, I would be more than willing to offer my hand for help, because it's just something that's so ingrained in me. Something about seeing others succeed is just so exciting. It makes me so happy. And so why would I deprive myself or anyone of that? And so that was one thing I promised. The other is I never wanted to just settle, is the wrong word. I never wanted to stop learning or stop growing. It was just something that was very innate in me, which is funny because I was not a studious kid. I was obviously an entrepreneur, so I was motivated to work. I wanted a job. I wanted to be paid for my work. Like that was something that was ingrained in me very young. And suddenly I realized there's more than one way to learn, right? There's school, which is great. It's important. But not everyone learns that way. And I'm that type where I don't learn that way. I learn through experience. I learn through training. I learn through actual hands-on activity with it. And so when I realized that, I just said, wow, I am interested in learning. I thought I wasn't, but once I found the way that I naturally learn, it became much more fun and exciting. And so I think that could also, now that I'm kind of talking to you guys about it, I think that could also be why I feel this sense of excitement this year, because our business is changing. Our business has changed from a restaurant to more of a manufacturing business, still within food, right? But one thing that I'm really excited about is learning something new within the food industry. When I thought that I was going to be stuck in a restaurant, then I had already known all of those things. I kind of like learned everything there I needed to learn to make our business sustainable. And I don't know, I guess it kind of got boring that I didn't have to learn something, or I thought I did. I obviously thought there's obviously plenty to learn, but I thought I didn't have to learn it. But now that we're entering in a new industry within our food industry, and I don't know anything about it, it's kind of exciting. And I used to admittedly be scared to work, or I'm sorry, scared to learn, because like I said, I was always afraid of just asking a stupid question or asking the wrong question or not learning fast enough. And I don't know why I ever felt this pressure, but I did. And so now I don't feel that way. I feel much more confident in myself and where I am in life, where I'm actually more excited. And I'm excited to learn. I'm excited to learn at my own pace. And I'm really looking forward to going to Vegas and like soaking it all in. I really have high hopes. I'm not saying that it is going to be the thing for us, because I mean, it could be completely wrong for our business. But I'm really excited to learn whether or not it could be. So yeah, it's just something that I've realized that I actually do enjoy learning, and it's something that I'm going to keep taking with me, because I just thought I wasn't a learner. I wasn't a studious person, but I guess I really am. So anyway, all that to say, those are the two things that I promised myself, that if someone wanted to learn, to give them that knowledge, and they can do whatever they want to do with it, because you don't have to take my advice, but if you ask me and you want to know what my feedback is, or what my answer would be to your question, I'm happy to answer it. And then also, I want to be that person that isn't afraid to learn those new things and ask those novice, like, quote unquote stupid questions. I want to ask them now because I'm excited to learn something new. So that's basically my week, but that's why I'm so excited about wanting to talk about product development and the industry. So when you're new in the industry, I guess for you out there that's actually watching this, whether it's live or the recording, is where do you want your business to go? Like, if you were really not, if life wasn't going to get in the way, and there were no hurdles, and there were no issues to getting to where you wanted your business to go, where would it go? And I never asked myself that question when it came to business planning, right? Because they ask you, what's your 3-year plan? What's your 5-year plan? What's your forecast for your business for the next 5 years? It still has to be semi-logical, right? Like, it has to be based on the research that you've, pulled together, the statistics, or yada, yada. But forget all that for right now. It's just you and me talking, and feel free to message me and let me know what the answer to this is. But if there is nothing holding you back, what would be the end game? Would you want to, I don't know, would you want to be able to travel while working? Would you want to have, an office building full of employees? Would you want to stay small, have a small but mighty team? What does your ideal business at this very moment look like? And that could change. Nothing is concrete here, because I thought very differently about where our business was going to end up. So every time we pivot, my dream becomes different. Sometimes, especially in this time, my dream is completely flipped on its head, because I thought my business was going to look completely different. I thought we were going to have restaurants, multiple locations, maybe. That's what I thought was going to happen, or franchise. That was the thought, right? Because that was the natural, logical step. Never in a million years did I think we were going to go into manufacturing. Nope, not wholesale, because wholesale just didn't seem like it was working for us. So it was never part of the radar. And then suddenly, now, I have no thoughts right now, at least, of opening a restaurant. A lot of people ask me, and this might be a letdown for a lot of people, but as of right now, my family has no intentions of opening up a restaurant, unless there was a concept that was too good to be true and we couldn't pass up on the space, or something like that. But as of right now, there are no plans, because we want to see where this manufacturing goes. We're all kind of having fun with it. We're closer than ever as family, and like, we're doing great. So why would we go back when we're enjoying our time and still fulfilling that passion that we have? And so, yeah, I'm really curious to see where it's going to take us and what's going to happen from here. And if I could dream, my biggest dream would be to have Filipino food, specifically our Filipino product, in a non-Asian dominated store, like a big one. And nothing's impossible, right? Like, anything could happen. And that's my dream. So I'm being fully transparent and out there with you guys. Like, what would that look like for you? Like, if you could dream big and nothing got in the way, and your business could do anything, what would you want that to be today? And like I said, it could change, but have you ever told anybody? Have you even written it down? Did you make it concrete, or is it just floating around in your head? And when you think about that, that's when you got to say, okay, if I want to end up in a big box store, right? Like, let's say like me, and I want to end up in a big chain supermarket. I have to understand that industry. I have to do research. I have to understand what the industry will ask of me so that I can actually get to that point. And I'm not saying set goals. That's not what I'm saying. It's just more of like understanding what steps you need to take and eventually take them whenever the time comes or presents itself, or you feel ready or you want to push yourself to do it. And that is my goal. Like, that is something that I want to do. I don't want to put any pressure on it, but I want to learn more, because when time comes and I'm ready to take that leap, then I'm a little bit smarter. I'm a little more educated. I talk to some people that are in the similar industry that are like-minded, so I don't feel alone like last time. Those are the things, and that's the reason why I ask, is because first you need to figure out, well, at least this is how I think of it, is first I need to figure out where I want to end up. So do I want to franchise my restaurant? Do I want to go into wholesale? What do I want to do? And then from there, I can ask who, I can ask how, I could ask why, I could ask all those questions after. But that's how my brain thinks. I just kind of think, okay, if I want to go into the manufacturing industry, I've got to meet people. I've got to find people that have done this before, that do not have a negative outlook, that have the same, type of thinking as I do, and that also believe that this is, a good idea, that type of thing, and is not going to sway me and is not going to push me in the direction they think I should go. I need to find people and the environment and community that is going to push me to think about where I want to go, so I can make that educated decision and step. Because you're going to come across a ton of people, and if you haven't already, I'd be surprised, right? Like, you're going to come across a ton of people that are going to tell you how to run your business, that are going to tell you how to run your life. But really, only you can make that decision, because it doesn't affect them directly. It affects us. And so thinking about where I want to go and how I foresee my life, I want to mold those things around that idea, because I did it the other way before, where, I had the restaurant and I basically worked my life around that business. And I don't want to do that this time. I actually want to mold my business around how I want to live my life. And that's hard. As an Asian woman, minority, I feel like I'm not the only one that's bold enough to say that we've been raised to just grind and like work hard and hustle till our limbs fall off, because any wasted opportunity to make money is like a cardinal sin. But really, no, that's not how I want to live my life. I don't want to live my life like that anymore, because I felt like a slave to my business. And at some point, I have to tell you, I resented it, because I wasn't creating healthy boundaries, because I felt like I was losing out on something, because of all these negative things. It just didn't feel good. And then at some point, I was like, I don't want this anymore, But if I had started first and said, these are my parameters, I can do a restaurant, or I can do this business with these parameters, and I knew what I wanted at the end, that I feel like it would have gone a different way, because my mindset and my trajectory was crystal clear to me. But at the time, I didn't. I was just like, let's just see where this goes, because I have no idea what I'm doing, right? And it's because when I jumped into it, I just was like, I could do it. Who can't? It's fun. Who doesn't want to work with food? Who doesn't want to run their own business? Sounds fun. It was, but it was also stressful as heck. It was one of the hardest things that I ever had to do. I don't think I had ever cried over something so inanimate in my life. It was just so stressful on me. But now I see and I'm like, I don't want that anymore. I don't want that for my life. I want to be able to dictate what my business is going to look like, because it's going to shape around me. I'm going to be that center, and I'm going to shape my business so that it works for me instead of me working for my business. Because at that point, what's the point? I might as well be working for someone else, right? So do your research, understand your product, see what fits and how your business can work for your life, and think about what you want and really go for it with an educated guess, because it's still going to be a guess. It's a gamble, with an educated guess on where you think you want to go. And then give it a year. Give yourself a true chance. I challenge you to give yourself a real shot at what you think is impossible for you to accomplish. Because I can guarantee you with your own doubts is plenty. And you are probably telling yourself that you can't do it, that it's too hard when push comes to shove. And we've all been there. I've had plenty of those moments. I've wanted to give up a million times. But really give yourself a shot and say, no, I'm not going to give up for at least a year, 3 years, 5 years. I'm going to put in the work and I'm going to do it and commit to it and really try. Yeah, you might fall off here and there. Life will get in the way and you might have to pivot. You might have to think of something different. Yeah. That's going to happen. But give yourself a true shot. Because I know there's so many people out there that are like, it's just a side thing. It's just a hobby. I don't know. But if you hate your full-time job, if you want to eventually become a full-time entrepreneur, if you want to sell the products that you're creating because you're so passionate about it without having another job, then you really got to give yourself a shot and take it seriously. And I feel like there aren't enough people out there. There's starting to be more. I have to admit that. But there's so many people out there that just don't want to give themselves a shot for some reason. And I challenge you today, if you're one of those people that's feeling that or feel doubt, just pick yourself up and give yourself a shot. That's it. All right. So, I'm going to close with that. I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful week. I hope it's as busy as mine and you have a great one. If you need anything or have any questions, all the information is going to be in the description below. And I will see you guys, from Vegas next week. All right. We'll see. Hopefully the Wi-Fi isn't unbearable, but we'll do the live show from Vegas next week and we'll see what happens. All right. Have a great week, guys. Bye.